It's just not supposed to be like this. Like, everything is so good. I shouldn't have to protect myself from my husband.
No, you shouldn't, Tigerlily, unless you married someone without knowing them. Unless you married practically a complete stranger and for some insane reason, you didn't get a prenup. Yeah, absolutely insane. And who would have guessed it? Surprise, surprise. It's now come back to bite her in the arse.
If I get anything from your attorney, I will not go into visa appointment. I won't continue with wife didn't trust to her husband. You understand me?
That's nice, Adnan. Real gentlemanly of you. Just threaten to abandon your pregnant wife. Sure, that will win us over, but before we get to that, let's rewind to the start. So we left Tigerlily as she'd just found out that she was pregnant, and when we join her in this episode, when she's now in her second trimester, she tells us how she decided to surprise Adnan with the news that he's set to become a father by flying out to meet him and then gifting him with a necklace that says baby on it.
Baby, you have a baby now.
I know, baby, you're gonna be a father, honey.
Adnan was over the moon. This is the best gift ever, he says. But as we join Tigerlily back in the present day as she's catching up with her friends Shay and Cruz, Tigerlily fills them in on how her preparations are going. Preparations not just for baby's arrival, but also, hopefully, for Adnan's. You see, Adnan now has a date booked in for his visa interview, and it seems almost as if their dream life together in America is all kind of falling into place, somewhat.
Since Adnan and I have gotten pregnant, we bought a cabin, but it needs remodeling before we can move in. Meanwhile, the kids and I are living out of hotels.
Now, of course, financially, we know that Adnan and Tigerlily are very comfortable. From the way she splashes money to the fact that he was able to afford this big, extravagant wedding celebration for them. Not to mention, of course, the cost of living in hotels and also the size of the cabin that they're planning to build. They're clearly in a very fortunate position, right? But there is a problem. Tigerlily reveals that their relationship isn't exactly in a good place right now. And while she, Shay and Cruz are shopping for play equipment for her kids, she reveals what's been going on.
We are literally getting into an argument every other day.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's intense.
Now, I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking, what's new? It doesn't sound like much has actually changed. But Tigerlily goes on to say that now is actually Ramadan. Adnan is fasting from dusk until dawn, and that might be contributing to his irritable mood. But it's not just the arguing that's been weighing on her mind. It's more than that. You see, some of Adnan's actions have left her questioning his commitment to their marriage.
He wants to keep his apartment in Jordan. If you're moving here, why do you want to keep it? Is that a safety net?
Tigerlily doesn't understand it. She doesn't understand why Adnan would want to keep his apartment with all of his belongings in Jordan if he's planning to permanently relocate to America with her and start a family together. It just doesn't look like he's fully committed. He's not all in. She feels like he's keeping a backup option to run back to just in case things don't work out between them. But get this, it actually gets even worse.
He went to make his brother fair power of attorney. It was basically making his brother act as him for anything.
Wow.
Adnan has put a heck of a lot of power into his brother Fair's hands. Fair has legal power of attorney, meaning he can act on Adnan's behalf. And where this poses a big problem for Tigerlily is that it means he also has a lot of power when it comes to her assets too. Remember, as Adnan and Tigerlily are husband and wife and have no prenup in place, what's hers is also his. And understandably, that has left everyone with a lot of concerns.
That's crazy. You know, he could literally just go get a bank account, switch everything, and then leave right now.
Now, Tigerlily, understandably, doesn't want Adnan's brother to have access to her finances. She has her own affairs to worry about, her own kids from another marriage. But the problem is, and it's a huge problem, given her levels of wealth, she was absolutely stupid not having a prenup in place. I mean, irrespective of Fair, right, and his power of attorney, she really should have taken greater protection against Adnan.
Why didn't you protect yourself in the beginning? Both Cruz and I, we were telling you this,
I know, but this is like not what I wanted. Like, I don't.
I didn't want to start married life on that footing, says a romantic, or more likely a delusional Tigerlily. Like, she completely lost track of her senses, didn't she? And now, she and her kids are facing the consequences of that decision. So now, in a desperate bid to try and remedy that, she's turned to her lawyers to draft a post-marital agreement. She's now no longer concerned about being romantic. She's more concerned about protecting her assets. But is it too little too late?
It's just not supposed to be like this. Like, everything is so good. I shouldn't have to protect myself from my husband.
Now, Cruz wisely says you shouldn't have to, but you need to. And he's absolutely right. Look, the truth is, while we haven't seen anything that makes us expressly say that Adnan is only after Tigerlily for her money, right? That doesn't seem to be the case. That doesn't mean that she should leave it to chance either. Like, this is too big a deal to risk hers and her kids' future. So Tigerlily knows, right? She finally realizes that she and Adnan need to sit down and discuss these issues. But given that they seem incapable of discussing anything serious, she's not sure how he's going to react.
I'm nervous to bring up the postmarital agreement, but he's been making decisions that put me in financial danger.
So Tigerlily sits down with her laptop to have a video call with her husband. But immediately, right off the bat, you can tell that there's a problem. You see, after a long day in the heat, with no eating or drinking for Ramadan, Adnan is exhausted. He's hardly in the mood right now to have a serious conversation. And to make matters worse, it doesn't exactly help that his wife is eating in front of him. It feels very inconsiderate, he says.
I'm grumpy, I am hungry, I need water, I am fasting, it's Ramadan, and Tigerlily is eating food in my face.
Yeah, it's not exactly the greatest time to bring this up, but it does need to be brought up. This can't wait any longer. So, Tigerlily begins by first bringing up the whole apartment in Jordan issue. Why are you so adamant that you want to keep that apartment, she asks. Is it because you want somewhere to run back to if you leave me?
I don't like that you're going to keep your apartment in Jordan.
Well, this is the problem. You don't like it. You don't like everything.
Look, for as much as Tigerlily might not like it, right, Adnan has been very clear with her that he intends to go back and forth from America to Jordan. Again, it's an issue that they never really got to the bottom of, but this is a consequence of constantly kicking the can down the road. It's finally caught up with them. He intends to go back, he's been clear about that. So, in his mind, it's no big deal that he's keeping a place to go back to. This is where we'll stay when we visit, he tells her, but the problem is, right, and it is a big problem, Adnan doesn't seem capable of fully expressing himself. He's not very good at communicating this to Tigerlily.
You can stay in a hotel. Why do you need to keep an apartment?
I need some place so I can keep my stuff in some place. Don't leave it there.
See, this is the problem.
Look, I get both sides here, right? I understand why Tigerlily's concerned, but I also understand why Adnan wants to keep his apartment, especially if he's going to go back and forth so often. Believe me, as someone who moved to America myself, right, if I had the financial means to keep an apartment in London so that I could go back there whenever I'm visiting, yeah, I would do it, but I'm not in that position. So if these two are, then I get why he wants to do it. It's convenient. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's not committed. Now, Adnan refuses to get rid of it just because his wife isn't happy, right? He's not going to do it just because Tigerlily commands him to. And the more that she insists, the more petulant he becomes.
That's what it means when you marry someone. You build a life with them. You don't keep your life in Jordan.
I build my life where I want, where I like.
And that is that. That is the end of the conversation. I do what I like, I'm the man, and you can't stop me. Now, this isn't exactly a good precursor to the other issue that Tigerlily intends to raise. Perhaps wisely, right, she decides to drop this conversation and focus on the next one. Now, she begins by trying to explain to Adnan why giving his brother the power of attorney has put her in a vulnerable position. Like, she tries to get her husband to empathise with her. She wants him to understand that she feels uncomfortable, she feels vulnerable. But the problem is, the mistake she makes is she begins painting a worst case scenario. And given that we know Adnan is very, very close to his brother, that isn't gonna go down too well.
He can take our money, keep it in Jordan, you go back to Jordan with him, and then I'm left with the children and no money.
Adnan looks mortified. He's shocked that his wife would even say such a thing. How could you suggest such a thing? How could you suggest that I'd abandon my family for money, is what he's thinking. But, and here's the problem, regardless of his indignation, right, it does happen. People do break up, and often money is the reason why. Like it or not, whether or not he admits it, Tigerlily does have every right to be concerned.
How are you thinking like this? Why your mind like this with me? You think I get the money and running away and just leave you and leave my baby?
Now, on the one hand, I get why Adnan is hurt by this. I understand why it's a blow to his pride, his ego, his trust in the marriage. I understand why it's not nice that his wife is inferring that he would be capable of doing such a thing. But on the other hand, and this is very important, Adnan is only 22 years old. Like it or not, as much as he thinks he's the man and he knows everything, he can't seem to comprehend, right, that Tigerlily has a heck of a lot more life experience than him. She's been through a divorce before, right? She's been in an eerily similar situation, a controlling marriage before. And it's precisely for that reason that she now seems to have got her brain in order. She now wants this post-marital agreement. But even before she's brought up that topic, Adnan is losing his cool. He feels attacked.
I just want you to take back the power of attorney.
I will not do it.
Then we just need to have a post-marital agreement.
Adnan claims that he gave his brother the power of attorney for practical reasons. He's my manager, he tells his wife. He's the one that can help me with all my financial stuff when I'm not physically there. And while that's all well and good, while he's free to let whoever he wants manage his money, what he completely misses is what it means for Tigerlily's assets. That's the sort of thing husband and wife should both be okay with. And when Tigerlily goes on to say she's not okay with it, in fact, she wants a post-marital agreement in place, it's at that point that Adnan completely blows up.
Telling me like this is not acceptable to me. And I don't like it like this. If I'm your husband, you should trust me if I decide anything to do.
Tigerlily doesn't waver. She doesn't care. Shout all you want, yell at me, stomp your feet, do what you need to do, Adnan. But my lawyers are going to draft this agreement and I will be sending it to you, she tells him. So how does Adnan respond to that? Well, his reply shows how young and immature he really is.
If I get anything from your attorney, I will not go into visa appointment. I won't continue with wife didn't trust to her husband. You understand me?
If Adnan doesn't go to the interview, Doesn't that just show that he is the kind of man that Tigerlily feared? Doesn't that prove that he is the kind of man that would abandon his pregnant wife or future family? What kind of man would make that threat when his wife is carrying his unborn child? For all his indignation, for his shock that his wife would ever suggest such a thing, Adnan's actions have completely undermined him. It proves that Tigerlily is right to get a post-marital agreement in place.
I mean, this is like what I was afraid of. It's not supposed to be like this. This is supposed to be the perfect marriage, and this isn't.
No, sorry, Tigerlily. It's way too late for that. It's way too late to talk about what's supposed to happen. Like, you're not supposed to marry a man the first day you meet him, right? Without a prenup in place. She's been so irresponsible that it's coming back to bite her, and she has no one to blame but herself. Is it sad? Yeah, of course it's sad, especially for her kids, the unborn child that she's carrying. But any attempt to paint herself out as a victim here just isn't gonna fly. This is all entirely a situation of her own doing.